Do you know who Gun Girl is?
No, I saw that I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, there's a woman, Kaitlin Bennett, and she was at Kent State, right? And she was a member of the Turning Points USA squad at Kent State, and they did
chapter. They have chapters.
Yeah, they have chapters. All these colleges.
Of course they do.
Of course. And she did a protest about wearing diapers, right? Was that it, or what was the whole thing?
It was about how the left is babies, so they dressed up in diapers themselves with rattles and
sometimes to show that left is baby, you must be baby.
And she got the nickname Gun Girl because she showed up with a gun at graduation. Was that?
And took some graduation pictures with it and stuff like that.
At Kent State, that's
very sensitive,
very redolent.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then there was a rumor. And I don't know if this is true. Do we have any, where did the rumor start? Do we know?
It comes from the journalistic outfit known as Barstool Sports.
Barstool Sports.
So not one I usually...
And somebody there claimed that what? That they were at a party and she pooped her pants at a party. Now, I don't know if that's true or not.
It happens to the best of
us. But I do know, all I can say with assuredness is that Barstool Sports made that claim.
Take it up with Barstool.
Right. And now, so they put out this, they have this show called Liberty Hangout. And she goes and interviews people on college campuses and tries to trip them up. We played a clip of this the other day where she was, talking about, basically trying to imply, isn't it a horror show that trans people can use bathrooms? And some dude, she was interviewing was just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And she's like, but what if, would you think that there should be tampons in the men's room? And he's like, the dude needs a tampon or whatever. That's his business. I don't care.
Doesn't she edit this though?
Well, that was the weird part. We've been trying to figure out. I think she just this is one of the things about the right-wing grift. They don't care. They don't. At the end of the day, they don't care. If it drives traffic, they'll put it up there.
It might have been the best one that she had.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
But here she is running into another couple of people, and one of them immediately realizes who she is and says, "Aren't you the one who?"
So there's a third guy. There's a third guy that's kind of off camera during this, but she's basically that's not exactly the chronology. But she's interviewing these two people who identify as sort of like social democrats, but they we can get a taste from it. They identify as
It's not obvious, but it's in a more subtle way.
This is talking about sort of white supremacy.
I mean, look around. Do you see any indigenous people?
Yeah, I talked to a lot today, actually.
Really? What tribes were they from?
I didn't ask because that's not important to me.
But it is.
Do you know the history?
It's not important to me.
History of this campus?
Tell me about it.
This was built, most of it was built by slave labor.
Why are you here?
Many buildings have the names of slaveholding families.
Why do you go in them?
Well, because Rutgers has a legacy also on top of this with really radical politics. Paul Robeson went here, the famous black communist.
Oh, communist. Should we be celebrating that?
Are you triggered?
No, I'm asking you a question.
I believe, communism's a great thing, actually. I mean, obviously, it's been implemented in ways that haven't been effective in some
Can you show me where it's been effective?
I believe naturally humans hold a collective spirit. We are not atomized individuals. Neoliberalism has torn through humanity.
So individualism is out of the picture.
I believe we all have individual rights and the right to self-determination, as Palestinian people do as well.
Very brave.
Yes. And I also believe that naturally we are innately collective. And I believe that we all exist in a mosaic of humanity.
Oh my God,
and I think the fact that the capitalist system and neoliberalism has completely destroyed that produces ideologies like the far right that believe that in some ways ecofascism is a direct result of that.
My God, you were throwing out all these really crazy, weird terms. Ecofascism? No, they are. Honestly, if you talk to a normal person, ecofascism, that's really stupid.
The shooter self-identified as an eco-fascist. He wrote a manifesto about the climate crisis. He said he accepted the science and then scapegoated black and brown people.
Well, pause it. He was talking about the shooter, and I think they dropped that out so that she doesn't get demonetized.
Yeah.
They don't want that. That's interesting.
He said he accepted the science and then scapegoated black and brown people. as a scapegoat for the climate crisis. This is real threats that we're dealing with, and I think to say that they're not real problems really minimizes.
I never said that. I said it's silly. What is eco-fascism? What is that?
It's this idea that it's a branch of far-right politics. Usually far-right people don't accept the fact that climate change is a real pressing problem.
What do you think about this? You're just a bystander. What do you identify with? Are you
I don't like the way
left
this
wing?
is going.
Don't really
Let me
care?
change the topic here. That's what she's going. But this guy's
smart.
Yeah. Like, I want to send my kid to this college.
Yeah.
But here now, so she changes the subject and turns to this new guy, and this is where it starts getting interesting. Now, remember, the rumor is, by this Barstool Sports reports or whatever it is, that she, and look, I one of my closest friends wrote about an incident like that in his book, in his memoir. John Benjamin wrote about that. I think he did, or maybe I'm telling that story that shouldn't be out. But nevertheless.
That's going to be in your memoir.
Nevertheless. But so, it happens. But, it's rough when it gets out there. It's weaponized.
Accept the fact that climate change is a real pressing problem.
What do you think about this? You're just a bystander. What do you identify with? Are you a right wing, left wing? Don't really care?
Don't really care.
Okay.
I'm in the middle.
Okay. What about eco-fascism? Are you contributing to that?
I wasn't really listening to anything that was just said.
I don't blame you. If you want to walk away, you're totally free to. You look like you have more.
Is your name Kaitlin Bennett or something?
It is, yeah.
Oh, I've seen you. I don't know. Okay.
All right. Have a good day.
He just walks away from her. And now, this is where things get interesting. So here are these commies on campus, as she calls them. And at one point, the guy decides to bring up, I think he must recognize the name at that point. And then
I think they knew who they were dealing with.
Yeah.
I'm like a democratic socialist.
Okay, a communist. So you...
Let me go back a little bit further.
Oh my God.
This system in a prejudiced society, the only people I see putting black people down below them is you guys, white liberals, white communists, that sit there and say, what are you?
I'm like a democratic socialist.
Okay, a communist. So you guys are the ones saying black people, based on their skin color, can't do X, Y, and Z.
No.
Yes,
we're
you
saying
are.
The system did that to them. We're not saying they're inherently.
And then there's that communist collective ideology. Yes, resist. What are you resisting?
I'm resisting you, bitch.
Wow, very progressive and brave.
Pause it for 1 second. Now, what's really... They use the sound effect. They use the sound effect to keep her from saying the B word.
Yeah.
But remember, this Kaitlin Bennett is known online for having this mishap where she couldn't control her bowels, and they make this odd choice of using a fart noise instead of a beep in this thing, and that is...
I don't want to go there.
It's very odd.
I wonder if her editors are trolling her.
I think there's also this sort of maybe there's a wrestling quality to this. I know, this is, but let's go.
I'm resisting you, bitch.
Wow, very progressive and brave.
I don't understand what you're trying. Can you just tell me what you're trying to accomplish? Because I want an open dialogue with you, but you're not giving me.
You just called me a. Do you really want an open dialogue when you're calling me names?
Because I want you to give.
Will you apologize?
I'm sorry for calling you a bitch.
Thank you.
And at Kent State too.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you were there.
Okay.
What did he say?
So he just said you pooped your pants.
He said, "I'm sorry you yourself at Kent State."
Right. But I was using a different. You pooped your pants at Kent State, and so now she's she's pissed because she doesn't want that out there.
It's important for every movement to contain within it people who can speak well on the ravages of neoliberalism and people who can do vulgarity in a funny way. And sometimes those are the same person.
And to speak of movements, as it were.
Do you really want an open dialogue when you're calling me names?
Because I want you to give.
Will you
me,
apologize?
A piece of evidence. I'm sorry for calling you a bitch.
All right, thank you.
And at Kent State too.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you were there sucking. So actually, just for the camera, this guy was at a party at Kent State. I don't know what you were doing there, but he was giving out free jobs, wanted nothing in return.
Pause it for 1 second. He was giving out free BJs. And now free ones.
What a nice guy.
A post.
Free ones. Dude wasn't even getting paid.
Most blowjobs free?
What's that?
Not for her.
Blowjobs
Clearly.
I mean, I haven't seen the statistics, but I mean, in my experience, but you know,
It's amazing because you can hear it in her voice. She's
most anyways, in my experience.
She is super pissed that he said
She's
that.
super
to her.
pissed, and
just
this
goes,
is where she immediately goes to
yeah,
that.
just way homophobic.
Right, yeah.
Do you really want an open dialogue when you're calling me names?
Because I want you to give
Will
me
you
like, a
apologize?
piece of evidence. I'm sorry for calling you a bitch.
All right, thank you.
Fans at Kent State too.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you were there sucking. So actually, just for the camera, this guy was at a party at Kent State. I don't know what you were doing there, but he was giving out free jobs, wanted nothing in return.
Wanted nothing in return.
I guess I was.
Why were you giving out free jobs?
Communism.
Yeah.
Communism.
Collective spirit. Yeah. Share the wealth.
Redistribute the wealth.
Right. You guys think you're acting funny, but I encourage you to look at this video after we put that in there. This is going to be great.
Okay.
Oh my God.
And the best
Get
part
that
is
guy on my show. Holy
the best
shit.
part is like she goes from the homophobia to the like, and he got nothing in return, which gives you a sense of like what her romantic relationships are like.
Communism.
Right.
Definitely. You got every piece of you needs to be for sale in an individualistic society.
Exactly. Well, or as she says, you know, quid pro quo. There you go.
That was incredible. Best of.
Yeah,
I'm
that
calling
is
it.
that's great stuff.
And just a real. Do you guys know this because you understand the business? But who watches that show? Is it young people? Like,
It's weird because they Liberty Hangout has.
They're for real. I mean, we will not go. I mean, this isn't a hard and fast rule, but broadly speaking, we will not go and mock people who have no following because it is not. It has no political value.
right.
God, they got the ANCAP colors up there. F them.
But she has almost 400,000 subscribers.
Yeah. I'm curious.
She got 128,000 views on that video that we just or on some video that she's put up, and it's a day old. I mean, so she gets some views.
She gets
Yorkers
over
don't-
100K.
New
on
Yorkers don't
everything.
know the meaning of Christmas.
So it must be an older audience. I mean, if you're okay, and then like people who just like the alt-right, and then us.
Yeah, they're obsessed with children,
It's the
but
elderly-
they themselves are old.
Right.
The
right.
old and
That's-
fascists.
I don't know if that's the case.
No.
I don't know. I would be surprised if someone said to me that like the majority of people who are watching that are over the age of 45. I just, YouTube tends to have
Yeah.
a younger audience. And, you remember these are reactionaries around the country. And they also, the thing that the right does that we don't do on the left. And, I think for a myriad of reasons, they have a lot of reciprocity.
Mm-hmm.
They have sort of networks where they're encouraged, I think, to share these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I don't know where she gets her funding. Maybe she doesn't get any. Maybe it's all just from YouTube at this point. But this is what they do. There's a lot of this sort of like, they know that there is value in going back and forth with each other.
She's very Tomi Lahren. It's not like she's Jordan Peterson, who's like appealing to a younger male alt-right audience. Like this is, I feel like her, just looking at her list, like the war on Christmas.
Yeah, but don't you
Christmas.
think Tomi Lahren is you think Tomi Lahren's just sold to the Fox people?
Yeah, I mean, but early Tomi Lahren was, now she's on Fox, but it was very war on Christmas, but it was still an older audience that was chiming, and
Maybe.
people who thought she was hot, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't have a sense of who's watching her, but I mean,
someone
I think
should look this up.
I would
really
imagine like, look,
fascinating.
the same people who watch Crowder
Yeah.
would watch this stuff too. I mean, the healthy dose of homophobia, I'm going to college students and proving.
Crowder's got like 4 million subs or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
he's huge.
She's like a young alt-right Pepe's dream girl.
Yep. All right, let's go to